Welcome to another episode of Celebrate Meridian. Hi, I'm Mayor Tammy. In this month's episode, we are going to be focusing on youth safety. Summer is just around the corner, and soon students will be out of school, enjoying spending time with their friends. While this is fun and exciting for kids, it can also be a dangerous time of year. In the next half hour, we will tell you what the city is doing to provide parents with the tools that can help you keep your teens safe this summer. By educating teens on how to handle some dangerous situations they might experience, we hope they will make the right decisions and stay safe. But first, I want to catch up on what's happening in Meridian. In April, encourage your kids to put down their video games, turn off the TV, and step away from the computer for Unplug and Be Outside Week. There will be events held April 20th through the 27th throughout the Treasure Valley, designed to get children outside and moving. This is a great opportunity for you and your family to explore our parks in Meridian. If you'd like more information, please contact the Meridian Parks and Recreation Department at 888-3579. On April 25th, I hope all of you will join me for the 44th Annual Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. This year, our special guest speaker will be Ben Crosby, one of the Valley's favorite meteorologists. Tickets are $15 and can be purchased at the Meridian Chamber of Commerce, 10 Mile Christian Church, or by calling Deborah Martin at 888-3101. April is also time for Old Town Community Cleanup, and we would love to have your help. On April 27th, the Meridian Police Department will help organize volunteers to clean up several blocks in our downtown. We could always use more hands for this big project. If you would like to help, please call Melissa Delaney with the Meridian Police Department at 846-7360. If you have ever wished you could relive your prom, or if you've never been to a prom, I have an event you won't want to miss. The Mayor's Youth Advisory Council is hosting a prom for parents on May 4th. This will be a night where the teens are in charge of a dance just for you. They will be your hosts, servers, and DJ. The prom will benefit Ben's Bells, a nonprofit agency that focuses on spreading kindness throughout the world. If you would like to attend the prom, please call Ken Corder in my office for more details. Something most Meridian residents have noticed by now is the construction on Meridian Split Corridor project. A lot of you have asked questions about the project, so we invited Christine Myron from the Ada County Highway District to help get us some of the questions that you have answered. Christine, thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, maybe you can start by telling us a little bit about the project itself and maybe some of the change that people will notice once it's completed.
Sure. Well, the project started in late October, and really we're rebuilding Meridian Road, a 1-mile stretch between Franklin and Cherry, and we're widening it to 5 lanes. People will notice that road being built here in the near future. We've, of course, been doing some prep work. We've been doing sewer and water work on it. In addition, when the project is complete, people will see a crossover roadway just south of the railroad tracks that connects Main Street to Meridian Road. They'll also see rebuilt intersections at Meridian and Cherry and Main and Fairview. So there are a lot of components to this project. It's a very complex project, and we're really in the thick of construction at this point in time.
Yes, you certainly are. Some people have asked why this project is needed. Can you maybe help explain what needs or what issues it addresses?
Sure. Well, as you know, the vision for this project has been in the works for a number of years. ACHD, the City of Meridian, and the residents and business owners in Meridian have been working on this project and really accomplishing the city's goal, as you know, of making downtown Meridian a 2 destination that's pedestrian friendly, and then also taking some of those vehicles off of Main Street so that can be accomplished. So Meridian Road, once it's complete, will really be able to handle that capacity, and it will really serve those motorists who are simply just traveling through Meridian, who want to get from maybe the interstate to their home or to a business, just simply want to pass through. So it's going to really accomplish the city's goal of having the to and through concepts there for downtown.
Yeah, very good. Over the next few months, what changes are they going to see?
Well, up until February, this project has really been focused on the sewer and water upgrades as well as utility upgrades. Quest, Intermountain Gas, those folks have been out there improving their facilities and a lot of underground work. So now that we have warmer weather, we're going to start seeing the road actually being built. In late February, folks noticed intersection work beginning at Meridian and Meridian and Cherry and Main and Fairview. And that work is going to be done in 4 phases. And of course, those 2 intersections are very close in proximity, which makes things very challenging. They'll be constructing those intersections through September. And so during that time, as you know, traffic is down to 1 lane in each direction, and the signals are operating on something called split phasing. And while that allows for left turn movements to be maintained, it really restricts the volume of traffic that can go through those intersections. So those intersections are feeling the pinch, as are a lot of the alternative routes in the area, Pine, Franklin. So a lot being done at this point. Again, that will continue through September.
Now, we talked, I think, at great length before the project started. ACHD has been very sensitive to the businesses along Meridian Road and Main Street, for that matter, and some of the businesses that are affected by this construction. You've given alternative routes to the businesses so they can continue to stay in business. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, we have been working with the business community really before this project started, a year in advance, and a lot of on-the-ground, door-to-door work with them, trying to prepare them. Of course, there's only so much you can do to prepare for these kind of constraints during construction. We worked with them to create alternate access routes for those businesses within that closure. In some cases, the access will be taken off of Main Street. You'll take Main Street to get to that destination. In other cases, you'll be able to access the businesses from Cherry, Meridian Road via Cherry, and then on the south end of the project, Meridian Road via Franklin. So those options are still there. In some cases, you'll take access off of Northwest 1st and 2nd. Now, we created a map that illustrates overall where those access points are and how to get there. In addition, if you visit the website, meridiansplitcorridor.org, you'll see individual maps that were individualized for the businesses, and in many cases we gave them copies so that they could give to their customers, and it really kind of maps out that route on how to get there. In addition to that, of course, it's a construction zone, so there are a lot of signs up, but we did specifically put up directional signs that are black and orange in color, and those also help folks get to those businesses. We want to see them thrive. We want to see them survive throughout this project, and we certainly hope that the residents of Meridian and folks doing business there will remember they're there, they're open, and you can get to those businesses.
Well, and that's an important message that certainly we hope that people really remember and will patronize those businesses. Their survival is certainly, and these challenges during this road closure is a real detriment to those businesses. So for our community's long-term benefits, we should patronize these businesses. If people have questions about road closures, the latest road closure, I understand that the Pine intersection will close during spring break, so they can do the road work then. Where can they find that information?
Well, we have a website that we established specifically for this project, meridiansplitcorridor.org, and that's a great resource. We hope that people will go to that website, take a look at the information. There's several maps there. Again, all those business access maps that I refer to, those can be found there. People can also sign up to receive construction updates via email. That's really our best, most immediate way of contacting people during construction and keeping them apprised of what's going on. In addition to that, we hold monthly town hall meetings with the city, ACHD, and the Meridian Development Corporation, and we invite folks to come to those. Those are evening meetings, typically starting at 6 o'clock at City Hall, And it's an opportunity for people to come learn a little bit about project progress, what's been done to date, what are some of the milestones and challenges ahead, and also just ask questions of city and ACHD staff as well as the general contractor. Again, all those dates are on the meridiansplitcorridor.org website, which is a great resource.
Yes, it is. And certainly Ada County Highway District has been an amazing partner with the city, and they've tried to really work with the businesses in the area. One thing that our audience, I hope, will note that this is a one-way just to the south of the railroad tracks, and then that crossover will combine that one-way into two-way traffic north of the tracks to a 5-lane Meridian road to allow two-way traffic to continue on Main Street. It's an exciting project, and as Christine had mentioned, it creates a two-destination for our downtown, and it allows those that are going through that area that opportunity to get to where they want to go. Thank you, Christine, so much for joining us. I greatly appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Now I want to turn the time over to Natalie Podrowski, the city's communication manager, to talk more about youth safety in Meridian.
Thank you so much, Mayor Tammy. Traffic accidents are the leading cause of death for teenagers, and in Meridian, we have not been immune. We've had several teenagers die over the last couple of years. We were one of the first cities in Idaho to enact a texting while driving ban, which has since gone statewide, but there's still more that needs to be done. Education is an important aspect of preventing needless tragedies. So I've invited Officer Dave Gomez with the Meridian Police Department to join me today. And April is actually National Distracted Driving Month. So what are some of the goals the police department has this month?
The Meridian Police Department would like to decrease the number of accidents caused by distractions such as cell phones, eating, drinking, talking with friends, looking at signs, and even, a lot of the new cars have navigation systems which can distract drivers from what they should be doing, and that's driving.
And so those are a lot of things that distract drivers while they're on the road, and you named a lot. So what happens if you are looking at your phone or looking at the sign or looking at the person walking down the street? What happens when you become distracted behind the wheel?
Okay, so it only takes a couple of seconds to take your eyes off the road, basically. And what we've seen is cause of a lot of pileups. You go off the road, hit telephone poles, hit other cars, hit pedestrians is the worst case scenario. But what people don't realize is all these distractions take your eyes off the road, and it only takes a second, and you're going to be involved in a crash, which is a big pain for not only the city of Meridian, but for you and your family and everybody else involved.
Yeah, and obviously all drivers can make mistakes or have some difficulties behind the wheel, especially young drivers. What are some of the things you see most often that young drivers do that maybe they shouldn't?
Young drivers, our number one complaint with young drivers is speed and distractions. But along with speed and distractions, you also have, they're following too close. They have peer pressure. They have a lot going on inside the car that maybe older drivers don't have, and younger drivers are just getting into everything. They need to pay attention to the road even more than somebody who has some experience.
And one of the great things that the Meridian Police Department's doing is we're now actually offering a class that's geared toward young drivers. So it's called Alive at 25. Why did we start teaching that class?
The Alive at 25 program came about. We have the Chief Levy challenge the police department to get in touch with the youth in the city. Part of that challenge is how can we best help the youth of Meridian? So we figure, hey, you know what, the youth are actually in a group age 15 to 25 where they account for 15% of the drivers, but 28% of the crashes. So we did some research in the Alive at 25 class that was started in Colorado and has been very successful. We took that class on and decided to help the youth of the city by putting on the class.
And then what kind of skills do young drivers learn in the class? Because I've heard from some people who have taken it, they say they leave learning so much. So what can they take away? So
one of the big things is it's communication, not only with the people in your car, but with other drivers. Make sure you use your turn signals. We teach them a formula for driving better. We call it the Are You a Defensive Driver formula. And the R in the formula is recognize the hazard. The U is understand the defense, and the A is for act correctly in time. And so by using this formula, you can prepare for things that might happen on the roadway every day and do happen on the every day, and you know what's going to happen and what your reaction is going to be ahead of time, so that when something does happen, you don't just throw up your hands and scream.
So do you talk about some of the different scenarios that people might face on the road?
Absolutely. We talk about specific scenarios. We do role playing. You know, what if your friends get in the car and they want to see how fast your car is going to go? Because I don't care what kind of car you have. If you're a teenager, your friends are going to want to see how fast it can go. So we talk about scenario. Hey, what's going to happen in this scenario? We also talk through the consequences. Hey, if you let that situation control you, what consequences can we have? If you control the situation, what consequences can you have? We talk about a lot of those type of actions that they take to make them more responsible for their own driving and, you know that they're in control of a vehicle that can hurt those around them.
Yeah, well, it sounds like some great lessons. So who can take this class?
Alive at 25 can be taken, kids age 14 to 25. Yeah, it's nice if they've had a license a little bit so that they know what to expect and what's happening, but we don't necessarily require that. They can sign up at any time and take the class. It's actually a free class at this time. It's great for everybody. It teaches everybody, something is taught to everybody that comes out of that class.
And why would you specifically encourage young drivers to sign up for the class?
As I said before, young drivers are responsible for twice the crashes that they're only 15% of the population of drivers, but they're twice as much crashes. They need to take it because it teaches them real life skills. It shows them real life consequences. We show them some videos. Hey, these are videos taken inside of a car of a rollover. What happens if you don't put your seatbelt on? What happens if you get in a head-on collision? What happens if you have too many people in the car? What does that do to your following distance, to your attention span? And what kind of responsibilities do you have if you crash with a bunch of people in your car, or you crash and you hurt somebody else?
Yeah. So now, people have heard about the class. How can you sign up?
You can sign up. The best way is go to aliveat25.us. And if you can't remember that, just type into a Google search Alive at 25. It's probably going to be the easiest way to get you there. And you sign up. It's a free class. There's lots of classes. You can take them in Boise and Nampa. You can take them in Meridian, and even all over the state if you want to. But, in Meridian, we probably have quite a few classes going on right now, and there's always spots available.
Perfect. And one last question, because it is National Distracted Driving Month. What's one tip that you can share with all drivers that would help make all the roads safer here in Meridian?
For Distracted Month, we're going to give you 2 tips. Number one is, for distractions, less multitasking. People don't need to be on their GPS, on their cell phone, on their laptops, taking all kinds of calls, eating, drinking, smoking, putting on makeup. All those kind of things are distraction. Number 2 is buckle up. As an officer, I drive all over the city, and everywhere I go, at every stoplight, at every stop sign, I see people buckling up for me. And while if I'm going to be the person that they buckle up for, I'm okay with that. I'd rather people buckle up for their spouse, their kids, their neighbors, their work. There's all kinds of more important people than Officer Gomez to buckle up for. So please, just buckle up, because it really does save lives.
Well, it's great advice. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today, Officer Gomez, and thank you so much for all that you do in our community.
Well, thanks for having me.
Keeping youth safe in Meridian means helping them be prepared for any potential challenges they may face. So for the 2nd year in a row, the City of Meridian will host the Treasure Valley Youth Summit on April 25th at Wahoo's. This annual event puts high school students in real-life situations to help them understand the dangers of some of the choices they may have to face this summer and in life. Today I'm joined by Ken Corder, the advisor of the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council, and Micah Gale, one of the members of the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. Micah, I want to start with you. You're in high school, so what kind of situations do you see that might be potentially dangerous?
Just mainly the students not, when they're driving, taking unnormal risks and just being aggressive drivers, and also just not truly thinking out their actions and not looking at the dangers and consequences of their actions.
And Ken, maybe you can tell us more about the Youth Summit, how some of the things Mike is talking about. How is the Youth Summit going to help teens?
Sure. Well, the Youth Summit will be held at Wahoo's. It's the 2nd annual, and we have the teens going through several interactive lessons, and we've brought in some nationally renowned speakers to engage the students on topics such as the legalization of marijuana, suicide prevention, and bullying. The interactive lessons are great. The students will have the chance to text while go-karting, to display the dangers of distracted driving. They will don the Fatal Vision goggles and play mini golf to experience the lack of judgment that drugs and alcohol can play. And they will also participate in unfair teen laser tag to mimic bullying and the effects of bullying at the local high school level.
Well, those kind of sound like fun to me, Micah. How involved are high school students in planning this? Did you guys help pick some of these scenarios?
Yes, we're very involved at all the planning meetings. We've had a high school student there, including myself, and we've been checking the things, making sure that they're relevant to the high school students and that they'll actually be engaging for the students.
And how do you think these scenarios at the Youth Summit, how do you think they'll help teens and your peers in everyday situations?
It'll just help make the scenarios more tangible to the people so they can understand the dangers of their actions, so then they can prevent these dangers in the future and lead safer lives.
And Ken, what do you want people to take away from this as well?
You know, ultimately it comes down to the teens hopefully just taking a quick moment and think twice before they make life-altering or possibly life-ending decisions.
And I know this event wouldn't be able to be put on without some generous sponsors, so maybe you can tell us about who we need to thank this year.
Absolutely. The community involvement has been tremendous. We have received monies from Meridian PAL, the Office of Highway Safety, and the Mayor's Anti-Drug Coalition. Additionally, we have some funding from Meridian being named one of the 100 best communities for young people. And just recently, the youth actually won a grant from Idaho Power. And so as their advisor, I'm very proud of them.
Yeah, it sounds like really the community had to come together to put this event on.
Absolutely.
Now, this next question is for both of you. What else has the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council done this year to help keep teens safe?
Well, currently we're working on producing public service announcements about Idaho's new suicide prevention hotline. So we're going to use this to tell the youth about this option if they are thinking about it, so they don't have to go to the extreme ends and they can get that support they need. And also in December, 4 of our youth went to Washington, D.C., myself included, for the National Teen Distracted Driving Summit, so we can learn more about how to prevent our peers from doing these risky behaviors and improve our overall safety in the community.
And did you learn a lot in D.C.?
Oh yes, it was 3 days of nonstop learning. We learned so much about how to influence our peers and just make a safer community.
And Ken, is there anything you wanted to add to that?
Sure. You know, just this last Monday, we had an event at Big Al's titled Supporting Teens Against Nicotine Dependency. We hosted high schoolers from all over Treasure Valley to free bowling, and we played anti-nicotine videos on the big screens and just had a great time. And, you know, we hope we truly impacted some teens' lives. We did also receive over 350 pledges to be nicotine-free.
That's great.
It was amazing.
Now, the Youth Summit is obviously geared more toward youth, kids in high school, but later on that night, there's an event that's more geared toward parents. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Later that night, we will be hosting a town hall geared around safety for teens and driving during really the 100 most important days in the teens' lives, which is summer. You know, we have actually assembled a panel of parents who have unfortunately lost their teens in traffic fatalities, and they have agreed to come together to share their story and also have a Q&A session with the audience. It's definitely going to be a powerful night, and we're hoping to truly impact families and make a dent in those negative percentages we see from police during the summertime.
Well, and it's incredible that all of those parents are willing to share their stories because they've all gone through horrible tragedies. So what message do you really think they want other parents to understand by sharing their stories?
You know, it's really a simple message. They want to convey that, number one, you need to love your children. And by doing so, that requires time. And during that time, you really need to take a moment to educate them on the dangers that they see that they will indeed face. The other thing is that it's okay for a parent to say no. You know, you cannot go to that party, son. There's going to be alcohol there. So sometimes saying no is difficult, but it can save a life.
And if people want more information on either the Youth Summit or the Town Hall, where should they go?
They can go ahead and email me at kcorder@meridiancity.org or phone me directly at 489-0535, or, you know, stop on by the mayor's office. I'd love to have a face-to-face with someone.
Yeah. And then, Michael, last questions for you. Why would you encourage your peers to come to the Youth Summit?
It'll just be a fun way for the youth to not only have fun, but learn about these safety issues and lead safer lives and improve our community while also still having fun.
Well, Micah, Ken, thank you both so much for being here. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I'm really looking forward to hear how the Youth Summit turns out this year. So now we'll turn it back to Mayor Tammy.
I hope all of the information we've shared with you in the last half hour can help keep everyone in Meridian a little bit safer. I want to thank Natalie and all of our guests for coming on today's show. That brings us to the end of another episode of Celebrate Meridian. I wish you all a great night.